Namaskar, I am going to talk on hydrological cycle. Next to the air, water is the most essential of human requirements. The hydrosphere of the waters of the earth, its oceans, rivers and lakes is vital, constituting a future innocuum in the solar system and one responsible for physical and climatic phenomena characteristic of the planet. Water moves through the hydrological cycle and runs the heat engine of the earth. Approximately 97% of it occurring in the oceans. The hydrological cycle sometimes refers to as the water cycle. This is powered by solar energy and gravity. Long ago, Solomon observed all streams flow into the sea. Yet, the sea is not full, though the streams are still flowing. We can visualize the ever-changing migration of atmospheric, surface and groundwater as a complex system called hydrological cycle. The oceans are the immense reservoir from which all water originates and to which all water returns. This statement is somewhat simplistic because not all water particulars are in the process of completing the entire hydrological cycle at all times. But in elaborative cycle, water evaporate from the ocean form cloud which moves inland and condense to fill the earth as a precipitation. From the earth through rivers and underground water run off to the ocean. This is slow addition of water from magmatic and metamorphic sources. But there is also a constituent, a subtraction of water that is incorporated in the structure of the minerals with sedimentary deposits. The endless movement of water from the sea through the atmosphere to the land and back to the sea, this well described process has been termed as hydrological cycle. Y. Mahanja defined that the central concept in the science of hydrology is so called hydrological cycle, a convenient term to denote the circulation of water from the sea through the atmosphere to the land and hence back to the sea by overland and substructures routes in the part of way of the atmosphere. Also, many short circuits of water that is returned to the atmosphere without reaching the sea. In these sessions, we are going to learn about the hydrological cycle. The topics covered are factor determining the hydrological cycle, precipitation, evaporation and runoff, infiltration and transpiration, groundwater. The hydrological cycle may be said to determine the conducts of the three lands, the nature of application of the energy, then keeps the circulations, the inherent properties of the medium of circulation, then of the water itself, the structure of the natural reservoirs and conduits, thus in the atmosphere, the land surface, soil and rock which hold water and conduits in these courses. Sources of energy. The principal source of energy for operation, the great natural system of water, works in the sun. The energy that keeps up the main circulation of their natural waters and enables them to most of the mechanical and chemical work is derived by radiation from the sun. The solar energy is applied in raising the temperature of air, soil and water, which results in evaporation and some of the water and its transportation to the land, surface to higher altitudes, evaporation of water from the soil directly or through the agency of plants acts in operations another force, namely that of the molecular attraction of the soil particles. Properties of water. The circulation of water in the earth is conditioned in the many ways by the properties of water itself. The pressure relations between the water in the liquid and the gaseous state and in variation with temperature determine the amount of evaporation and precipitation and hence the degree of activity in the hydrological cycle. The specific heat, density, viscosity are the important properties of water that condition the circulation of water. Structure of the natural reservoirs and conduits. The complicated influence of latitude and the shape of the size of the land body over which atmosphere moves produce a great variation in the precipitation of water vapor. This variation in the precipitation primarily course of variation in the stream's flow and other process of the hydrological cycle. The hydrological cycle involves the total earth system, that is atmosphere, hydrosphere and lithosphere. The activity of water extends through these parts of the earth system and average depth of about 1 kilometers in the lithosphere, height of 15 kilometers in the atmosphere. Hydrological cycle has no beginning or end in the water in the nature continuously kept in motion. However, for the purpose of description, the cycle may be visualized as the beginning with precipitation from atmosphere, a part of it may evaporate and reach back to the atmosphere. Some more precipitations intercepted by trees and vegetation and the rest of only would reach the ground. The intercepted precipitations eventually evaporated into the atmosphere. Considerable portion of the precipitation reaching the ground gets infiltrated into the ground. The precipitation falling directly into the stream is called as the channel precipitation, and it readily becomes runoff without any delay, and the precipitation falling on the water bodies like ponds and lakes may be disposed of either as surface runoff to the streams of water, overflow or as evaporation or as infiltrations. The evaporation would also be taking place from stream surface. The infiltrated water may be distinguished in different ways. First of all, it supplies moisture to the vegetation, and after utilizing it for the subsistence of their life, vegetation sends this moisture into the atmosphere through a process is known as transpiration. Secondly, the infiltrated water may percolate deep and become groundwater runoff, or it may become groundwater supply to oceans. Then total stream flow, which is the sum of the surface runoff and groundwater runoff, ultimately joins the oceans, where from it again evaporates into the atmosphere. The completing the hydrological cycle through the entire cycle repeats when the atmospheric moisture precipitates on the ground after cloud formation. So, this is the hydrological cycle consists of various complicated process of precipitations, interceptions, evaporation, transpiration, percolation, storage and runoff. The terms precipitation as used in hydrology are forms of water deposited on the earth's surface and derived from atmospheric vapor. The principal forms are mist, rain, hailstone, sleet and snow. Unless otherwise specified, the term precipitation and rainfall is often used. May all of the forms are included in these groups. Condensation on solids on water surface as snow, frost in sometimes considered from the precipitation. Water vapor is one of the atmospheric gases with moderate range of temperatures and pressures, and for conditions not too close to the points of condensation, water vapors obeys the gas law reasonably in a well system. Atmospheric water vapor is chiefly derived by evaporation from oceans, lakes and rivers by evaporation from the moist soil, and by the transpiration from plants. Evaporation from the occurs in the principal source of atmospheric moistures. Condensation of the atmospheric vapor results in the forms of clouds, but not all clouds produce precipitation. Close observation of small clouds in a hot day often reveals that they gradually grow smaller and finally disappear. As a result of evaporation, it is therefore necessary to distinguish between the conditions that produce a condensation and those that results in precipitation. Types of precipitations. A rising air column is necessary to precipitation. It naturally follows that precipitation may be classified in accordance with the conditions that produce such a rolling column, of which those are three types, namely conventional precipitations, orographic precipitation and cyclonic precipitations. Conventional precipitations. Precipitation is the most common in the tropics. On a hot day, the ground surface becomes heated unequally, as does the air in contact with. This causes the air to rise, expand or cool dynamically, causing condensation and precipitation. Orographic precipitation. If because of the topographic barrier, moisture laden air is forced to rise to higher levels, expansion, cooling and precipitation follows, where conditions are favorable for the production of this orographic rainfall. It is called as heaviest precipitations occurs. Cyclonic precipitation. Cyclones are the two general classes, tropical and extratropical, so called, depending upon whether they occur within or behind the tropics. Especially throughout the central part of the United States, of the major portion of the precipitations is cyclonic in character. What goes up must come down. Evaporation is one of the most important and most complicated phases of hydrological cycle. This phase redistributes the heat energy between the surfaces and atmosphere. Evaporation is the process by which water from liquid or solid state rises into the vapor state and diffuses into the atmosphere. Next, evaporation process. Consider a water body with that a flat free surface. By supplying the external thermal energy to the water, the kinetic energy of the water molecules can be increased when the molecules near free surface attain enough kinetic energy, they escape and reject themselves into the atmosphere. The amount of energy expended by unit mass of water while passing from liquid to vapor state at constant temperature is called the latent heat of evaporation. When the external energy is not available, energy is removed from water body while evaporation is taking place and thus results in lowering of water temperature. Therefore, evaporation indirectly a cooling process. Out of the total atmospheric pressure on the free surfaces, there will be some contribution by the vapor is called as the vapor pressure. Continued supply of heat energy comes accumulation of more and more vapor molecules, and a state comes when the gaseous medium can be longer accommodate any more or rejects the vaporizations. At this state, the air is said to be saturated. At saturation, the particle pressure exerted by water vapor is called as the saturation vapor pressure, which increase the temperature. Thus, if the water vapor of the air above free surface of water is already equal to the saturation vapor pressure, neither evaporation nor condensation takes place, and this is called as equilibrium state. In practice, such equilibrium can never exist under natural conditions of interest to hydrogeologists, because the atmosphere in which evaporations takes place is infinite and various transport processes will also operate to transport the water in the atmosphere, both parallel and perpendicular to the liquid surface, and prevent equilibrium from occurring. Next, runoff. The runoff portion of the hydrological cycles includes the distribution of water and the path followed by water after it precipitates on the land until reach the channels or turns directly to the atmosphere through the evaporations. The portion of the precipitations that appears in the surface stream of either perennial nature is called as the runoff. The runoff cycle designates as description of water and the land, their interaction in the drainage system associated with the stream. The first phase of the cycle relates to the rainless periods after surface storage has been depleted and when stream flow is maintained by outflow from natural storage. There are continuous normally found at the end of the water year of the beginning of the next, usually in the driest period of the year. Components of the runoff. According to the sources from which the flow is derived, the total runoff is visualized to consist of surface runoff, subsurface runoff and groundwater runoff. The other components are shown in the figure. The total runoff is contributed by the direct runoff and the base flow. The direct runoff is made up of overland flow and subsurface flow. Horton introduced the concept of infiltration in the hydrological cycle. It is the process where by water enters the surface strata of the soil and moves downward towards the water table. This water first enters the soil moisture deficiency and therefore any excess moves and downward and becomes the groundwater. The maximum rate at which the soil in any given conditions is capable of absorbing the water is called as infiltration capacity. Infiltration capacity is often viewed by the hydrologic engineer a loss and by the agriculture as a gain. It is the process that provides water for nearly all terrestrial plants and for much of animal life. It furnishes the groundwater for wells and most of the stream flow in periods of fair weather. It reduces floods and soil erosion. Infiltration is therefore a process of vital economic importance. Transpiration. Transpiration is the process by which water vapor escapes from the living plant principally through the leaves and enters the atmosphere. This process constitutes an important phase of the hydrological cycle. For any given plant, the rate of transpiration varies throughout the 24 hours of the day. It varies available and other atmospheric conditions. For annual plants, if varies throughout their period of the growth, and perennial plants, it varies from year to year depending upon their stage of development. In general term, groundwater refers to the water that occurs below the surface of the land. The main sources of the groundwater is infiltrations. The infiltrated water after meeting the soil, moisture deficiency problems deeply and becomes the groundwater. The groundwater is relatively free of pollutions and is very useful for domestic use in small towns and highland farms. Practically, all groundwater originates as surface water Principal source of natural recharge include precipitation, stream flow, lakes and reservoirs. Other contributions known as artificial recharge occur from excess irrigation, seepage from the canal systems. Discharge of groundwater occurs when water emerges from underground. Moist natural discharge occur as flow into the surface water body such as streams, lakes and oceans flow to the surface directly to the atmosphere from within the soil and by transpiration form of vegetations. Now, hydrological cycle has no beginning or end, as the water in nature is completely kept in motion. Thus, the hydrological cycle is the circulation of water from the sea through the atmosphere to the land and again back to the sea. One of the simplest representation of the hydrological cycle is shown below. From the atmosphere, the precipitation takes place. The precipitation may be in the form of rain, snowfall. Most of the rainwater flow as runoff and some way contact with the subsurface to form a groundwater. So, that is the after infiltration. The snowfall develops glaciers or ice sheets or reach the streams or rivers and further reach the ocean or sea. The groundwater comes out as a springs and reaches the streams or rivers and further reach the sea or oceans. Evaporation takes place from the sea or oceans. Water gives back to the atmosphere, again form the atmosphere, the cycle start. Thus, the hydrological cycle is a continuous process till the water in the nature is kept in motions.